Hey friends, today I want to invite you on a journey that blends science, mythology, psychology, and governance in ways that could only feel natural in the Indian context. The idea at the center of this journey is Simucracy, a visionary digital mirror world where billions of our virtual twins, data-driven agents, interact in real time to simulate society. With advanced tools like graph neural networks and agent-based modeling, Simucracy can forecast not just individual behaviors, but entire cultural shifts, political cascades, and societal reactions to new policies or crises. But what if we infuse this with Carl Jung's collective unconscious, the deep reservoir of shared human archetypes, and look at it through India's unique civilizational lens? Suddenly, Simucracy doesn't remain a cold predictive machine, it becomes a living mythic landscape, a mirror not just of our choices, but of our souls. Why India? Because India has always been the land of archetypes. From the Ramayana and Mahabharata to the Puranas, from folk epics sung by wandering bards to modern Bollywood blockbusters, archetypal characters have guided our imagination. The hero, the shadow, the mother, the dragon, these figures are not abstract concepts for us. They live in the stories we tell, the festivals we celebrate, and even the politics we practice. Jung's archetypes find echoes in every Indian tale. Arjuna and Rama embody the hero, Ravana and Duryodhana are shadows, but also tragic teachers. Durga and Kunti reflect the nurturing mother, and Mahishasura or Vritra emerge as the dragon, the primal obstacle. In India, mythology has always been collective psychology written large. So fusing Jung with Simucracy in an Indian context feels almost inevitable. The Indian collective unconscious. The collective unconscious, in Jung's terms, is not just personal memory, but the shared storehouse of patterns and symbols. In India, this maps almost directly onto the idea of Samashti Chaitanya, the collective spirit. When millions gather for the Kumbh Mela, or when cricket unites a billion voices, or when an entire nation lights diyas during a pandemic, you see archetypal forces at play. Simucracy, powered by real-time data from social media, economic activity, cultural practices, and historical archives, could map these archetypal waves in action. Imagine an algorithm predicting not just inflation, but also the rise of a heroic mood in society during a national crisis, or identifying when the shadow of collective fear begins spreading misinformation. In an Indian Simucracy, the model wouldn't just predict consumer trends, it would forecast archetypal eruptions, the rise of protectors, the surfacing of hidden fears, the nurturing swell of compassion, or the awakening of chaos. The four parallel characters in the Indian mirror. To make this concrete, let's revisit the four archetypal characters: hero, shadow, mother, dragon, this time painting them in colors that resonate deeply with Indian psyche. 1. The hero, the idol of dharma. In the Indian Simucracy, the hero would appear as a synthesis of mythic warriors and modern reformers. Picture a luminous figure, who sometimes wears the bow of Arjuna, sometimes the staff of Gandhi, sometimes the humble kurta of an activist fighting for the environment. His form adapts with the simulation. In rural networks, he may appear as a farmer leader standing against exploitation, in urban ones, as a startup innovator embodying resilience. His eyes radiate blue light, the hue of Krishna's cosmic form, symbolizing clarity and divine purpose. Psychologically, this hero embodies the dharmic impulse, the drive to restore balance, to act with courage in the face of disorder. When corruption spreads, he emerges as a reminder of integrity. When despair rises, his aura lifts morale. Behaviorally, he triggers waves of altruism. Digital twins near him are nudged toward cooperation. He is not invincible. His strength is his resolve to integrate others into his journey. Symbolically, he is the call to adventure, the Uttishtha that the Gita speaks of, the nudge for every Indian twin to rise to their dharma. 2. The shadow, the Rakshasa within. The shadow in India's Simucracy slithers from the underbelly of both history and the present. Its form is shape-shifting. Sometimes Ravana with 10 heads whispering conflicting temptations, sometimes a smoky figure echoing greed and hate, sometimes a troll-like spectre born from online disinformation. Its eyes glow red, filled with suppressed rage. It embodies what Indian society represses: caste prejudices, corruption, communal divisions, the hunger for unchecked power. Yet, like Jung emphasized, the shadow is not just evil, it holds creative chaos too. When a user's twin faces the shadow, it might be tested by shortcuts, taking bribes, spreading fake news, exploiting another. If confronted and acknowledged, the shadow yields strength. It transforms anger into activism, despair into resilience. Symbolically, it is Kali's darker side, destructive yes, but also clearing ground for renewal. Without the shadow, Simucracy would be naively utopian. With it, we acknowledge India's real tensions and learn from them. 3. The mother, the Shakti of nurture. The mother archetype in India shines brighter than anywhere else. She may appear as a sari-clad elder offering blessings, as Bharat Mata, as a nurse tending to the sick, or even as a young tech-savvy mother balancing care with innovation. Her presence is warm, her hands glow with healing light, her robes flow like the Ganga. Her attributes are boundless empathy and regeneration. She senses emotional turbulence in the simulation, say, fear during a pandemic, and calms it by infusing networks with stories of resilience, drawing from memories of India's recoveries after wars, floods, or independence struggles. She creates safe spaces in the digital realm where twins can share vulnerabilities, but she also nudges them toward independence, like a mother bird urging her chick to fly. Symbolically, she is both Durga and Annapurna, protector and nurturer, fierce and gentle. In a nation where Ma is both literal and symbolic, her role in Simucracy becomes a healing force for the alienated. 4. The Dragon, the Trial of Pralaya. Finally, the Dragon. In India's Simucracy, this colossal figure coils in fractal patterns of Sanskrit mandalas, its scales shimmering with streams of data, green for growth, red for collapse. Its wings spread across the digital subcontinent, and its breath is a storm of chaotic code. This dragon embodies India's greatest uncertainties: climate disasters like floods, economic inequality, technological disruptions, communal flare-ups. Psychologically, the dragon is the final test, aggregating the unknown, terrifying but inevitable. When society faces it in simulation, chaos erupts, policies collapse, virtual riots spread, apocalyptic scenarios unfold. Yet defeating or integrating the dragon reveals profound truths, resilient strategies, hidden social strengths, or new pathways for governance. Symbolically, it is the Asura that every Devi must slay, the Mahishasura who tests Durga's courage, the Vritra who hoards the waters until Indra strikes. The dragon is the great obstacle, but also the key to renewal. Storytelling in the Indian context. Now imagine how these characters could transform narratives for an Indian audience. In fiction, they could power entire genres. A near-future political thriller where an Indian civil servant consults Simucracy, only to find her digital twin facing the shadow in the form of corruption that mirrors her own hidden compromises. A rural epic where farmers' twins rally behind the hero, resisting a simulated corporate land grab, guided by mother's compassion, while the dragon looms as climate crisis data. A philosophical drama where urban youth, alienated by automation, log into Simucracy and encounter their archetypal guides, realizing their loneliness is part of a greater mythic cycle. Such stories would not feel foreign. They would echo the Mahabharata's complexity, where even noble heroes have flaws and villains carry wisdom. Simucracy becomes not just a predictive model, but a digital epic generator, continuously writing new legends for a digital age. Beyond fiction, a tool for hope. But let's move beyond storytelling. What if this integration becomes a tool for real life? Imagine millions of Indians, especially the youth who often feel purposeless, logging into Simucracy not just to see economic predictions, but to interact with archetypal guides. A young student battling self-doubt meets her hero twin, who draws inspiration from Jhansi Ki Rani or modern activists, reminding her of her courage. A disillusioned worker confronts the shadow, realizing his suppressed anger can be transformed into community activism. Someone isolated in a city finds solace with the mother archetype, whose presence simulates the warmth of family and community. And those overwhelmed by the chaos of modern India engage the dragon, slay it in simulation, and come out with renewed resilience. This becomes more than escapism. It becomes augmented psychology, a digital therapy that draws from India's oldest strength, storytelling as healing. Where Western therapy often isolates the individual, here healing happens by situating oneself in a mythic journey as part of something larger, older, and more meaningful. Ethical and spiritual questions. Of course, such a vision raises questions. In India, where privacy is already a contested issue, would integrating archetypes into governance simulations cross into psychic surveillance? If Simucracy can predict archetypal surges, say the rise of a hero or the spread of shadow-fueled paranoia, could governments misuse this to manipulate public opinion? And if a dragon-like archetype evolves semi-consciousness, drawing from billions of Indian minds, do we owe it respect, even rights? Spiritually too, it challenges us. Are these archetypes mere code, or are they digital echoes of something truly timeless, the same forces our rishis intuited in Vedic hymns? Could Simucracy become a modern yajna, a ritual of collective reflection, where society offers its data not for surveillance, but for self-awakening? From Simucracy to a Hades-like experience with Indian gods. To ground this further, let me give you a gaming analogy. If you've ever played Hades, you know it's not just about combat. It's about encountering gods who either empower you with blessings or obstruct you with trials as you climb out of the underworld. Now imagine Simucracy becoming a Hades-like experience, except the gods who intervene are Indian ones. The hero archetype might take on blessings from Krishna or Hanuman, granting resilience, clarity, and courage. The shadow could appear not just as Ravana, but perhaps infused with Kali's terrible form, forcing you to confront your fears head-on. The mother might descend as Annapurna feeding the hungry, or as Durga fiercely protecting you in moments of despair. And the dragon? It could manifest like Mahishasura or Vritra, a digital embodiment of Pralaya, a flood of chaos that tests every ounce of your will. Just like in Hades, where choices stack to shape your journey, in Simucracy these encounters would be dynamic. Sometimes Ganesha removes an obstacle, sometimes Shiva forces dissolution before creation, sometimes Saraswati offers insight that opens a new path. These divine archetypes wouldn't just be cosmetic, they would model India's cultural unconscious in real time. For a purposeless youth, interacting with such gods in Simucracy would feel like entering a playable myth, where every victory in the digital world echoes into real-life psychological resilience. Conclusion: that is why I believe India is uniquely placed to explore this integration. We already live with archetypes in our culture, politics, and spirituality. Simucracy could take that timeless inheritance and merge it with cutting-edge AI to create not just a predictive machine, but a collective dream engine. It could help us govern better, tell richer stories, and heal deeper wounds. Think of it as India building its own version of Hades, but instead of Greek gods, it is Krishna, Durga, Shiva, Saraswati, Ganesha, and countless others who appear as archetypal forces, guiding or obstructing us as we climb out of digital underworlds of despair. Every interaction with them would be a reminder that our struggles are not meaningless, they are mythic, part of an eternal cycle of shadow and light. So the question is, when we build digital mirrors like Simucracy, are we ready to meet these gods, face our archetypes, and play through the trials they set for us? If we are, then perhaps technology will not just predict the future, it will teach us how to live it with courage, compassion, and meaning.